Hello, Natalia. How are you?
Hello, good morning. I'm very
Morning.
well, thank you so much.
I'm so happy to have you once again in my PodCoaching, and I'll just again introduce you for the people who are listening for the first time. But I highly recommend that you listen to our previous podcast, which is I Am Responsible. And we spoke about taking responsibility for our lives. So Natalia helps, and I'm going to read this because I don't want to miss anything, helps her high-achieving and freedom-driven clients break through the old patterns and remove all mental blockages which stand in their way to be self-assured and confident queens who feel seen, valued, and loved in private and professional relationships. Amazing. As a certified hypnotherapist and rapid transformational therapy practitioner, she believes that the only thing which is not letting you have loving relationships and that life full of abundance is you and your lack of self-love. So I love your message, Natalia. I love how it's all within and how we can truly change our lives by unblocking, by releasing, by stopping from living in the past and moving towards a new life, which is absolutely what I love, absolute alignment. So today we are following through a topic we spoke last time, and which is reprogramming our minds, reprogramming our internal dialogues, reprogramming from an old story to a new story. And I would like to hand it over to you and just bloom on this topic that I just love.
First of all, thank you so much again for having me here. It's such a big honor, really, for me to be able to speak up and share actually what I do and how our mind works, because there is one very important thing to have successful life, to be happy, to live a life full of love and freedom and abundance. And I think that's to play in one team with your own mind. But that sounds like, okay, so of course, like, but most of us, we are actually playing against our mind.
Mm-hmm.
How? By criticizing ourselves, by feeding our mind with all those negative thoughts, negative dialogues. So how we actually can rewire our mind, right? Reprogram.
Yes, because we first need to recognize what is the dialogue. It's unconscious. It's just going since forever.
Exactly.
And you have a conscious dialogue and an unconscious dialogue that you are not even aware of.
Most of us, we grow up full of limiting false beliefs, which are actually preventing us from building loving relationships with others, from feeling loved, enough, happy. And as an example, imagine you grew up in a household where those first needs, which all kids we have, which is feel safe, feel loved, feel that you matter, that you are significant. And with time that we grow up, also we need to feel that there's someone who's proud of us. So if those needs are unmet, what we are doing, what we tend to do during the life, we grow up and then we seek for someone to actually fulfill us with those feelings. So we want our boyfriend or our partner to make us feel happy, make us feel loved. But that's not their job. And you know what? It's a funny thing. I'm going to say that because it's funny. Marisa Peer, my mentor, she said, you know what? Not even having an orgasm, it's your boyfriend job. It's your job. This is your job. So how we can actually do that? By taking responsibility for our own feelings and working with our mind.
So beautiful. And I want to ask you, how
Yes.
do we begin? What are the major steps? What are the steps that the creators who are listening to us can begin taking? Because what I feel, what I understand is that until we create a new story within, a new dialogue that opens up for possibilities, it's like we are in this box, and this box is constantly confirming our beliefs, the conscious and the unconscious beliefs. For example, if you identify yourself as a single mother, or if you identify yourself as any construction, then while you keep that identification, you will keep creating it. And if you want to get married, and this is something that I work in love, if you want to get married and be a wife and be engaged, but if you are identifying yourself as a single mother and that you are alone, then it's an identification that is not compatible, is not a match to what's coming, to a new family, a blended family. So how do we take those steps from, and sometimes an unconscious identification, right? I think there has to be a step there from the unconscious to the conscious, but how can a person move through this process of reprogramming?
Okay, I see here two things I would like to talk about. First of all, if there is a woman who identifies herself as, I am a single, love is not available for me, love is like some foreign country for me, I do not love, this kind of beliefs. So in this situation, we need to go back to actually understand what have happened in the life of that person, that she formed this kind of beliefs, that she decide love is not available for me, love hurts. And how we can do that? You don't have to go and spend 2-3 years visiting your psychologist every single week and talk about how your household were or all those things, right? Because as we already said, we don't want to just be stuck in the past. And sometimes by just going and talking about that, actually we can create more damage. And many psychiatrists and psychologists and psychotherapists, they are talking about this. So what I do, for example, with rapid transformational therapy, with hypnosis, it's like we go to the past, but just to revisit, not relive it, revisit the situation when you decide that I'm going to be single all my life. What have happened? Because, and I want you to listeners to understand that it's not what happened to you at the specific moment that hurts you. It's that belief you created, you formed in this specific period of time. And what is a belief? Belief, it's just a thought which is constantly going in your mind, right? Repeating in your mind. This is a belief. So why this is so important to be aware of your thoughts? Because the thought will create an emotion, and based on emotion we create that belief, and based on what belief we have, we create our reality. And this is something we call looping thoughts. Okay, so let's show that with example. You have that thought, I never meet like some interesting person who would love to build a life with me, right? I'm terrible in love life. So you have this thought, and you come and you constantly think this thought. So how that makes you feel? How does that make you feel? Probably frustrated or sad, right? And based on that feelings, you send a message to your body, to your mind.
And to the world, your energy, yes.
Exactly. And by doing this constantly, we create that belief. This is not available for me. I am not good enough for having love. I am not lovable. And what is happening in your mind? Your mind will do everything what is in power to make sure that your belief that will put the belief in your real world.
Reflect that the reality will reflect.
So the mind will gather all kind of evidence to prove you that yes, of course you are not lovable. And how it looks like. You even go out there. You have like 10 different date apps on your phone, right? You logically you do the thing. You go out there, you are dating people, you read the books, you listen the gurus of love life on Instagram, right? You do all these things. And still you go and you just meet that unavailable man who is not even a little interested in something more serious, like marriage or having kids with you.
This is such an important point.
But just let me finish, because
yes,
that's amazing. So when we have this reality, right? So you face this situation, what is happening? Oh, you have again this thought. You see, of course, like there is no amazing man right now in this world. Like I can't meet the love of my life. And we go circles like that. And that's why this is a looping thought. Does that make sense?
No, it makes total sense. And I think here there's such a crucial point, because the reality may be different, but where you are focusing on, what your attention is on, it's exactly what you will see more of.
Yes.
And exactly. I think the striking for me,
whatever you focus on, you get more.
Yes, and it really is this opening up and allowing yourself to see where the abundance already is, where there is another alternative. But you do need to open up that within, to come out of the box, that is closed off by all these continuous thoughts, and to really write them down. What is keeping me in this box? There is no available people, I'm not interesting enough, blah, 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 blah. All of these, and allow yourself to create the new thought that you spoke about in the previous podcast. Remember, it all ties together, a new thought, and to back it up. It's beautiful, and to realize that there's another world, but we do need to get out of the box and to open the lid and allow for something new to come up.
Exactly. And the thing is, it's our responsibility to do that. And I am not joking, but I think 90% of people, or even more, we don't are aware of our thoughts. And then, like so many people, sometimes it used to trigger me that people who were saying like, well, it is what it is. No, it's not. It's your responsibility to stop that thought and even say, shut the, what? It's me who is in charge here. So as Marisa Peer also said, I'm gonna quote her, that the only control you can have, it's actually controlling your thoughts. But that doesn't mean that you can stop all negative thoughts. It's impossible. It is impossible. We all have negative thoughts. Every single day I have negative thoughts. But what you can do, you can be so conscious and so mindful that when the negative thought is coming, you actually say, okay, let me think about it. And you need to stop that thought. It's it's the first step I do always. Stop that thought, be aware and stop it. And you know what? Be grateful, because it's amazing actually that you are aware and you can see that I have this thought. And that's the first thing, that's the first step for change. So be grateful. Say, thank you so much for letting me know. Thank you, thank you. I appreciate you. But I'm choosing different thought. The second step I use is, you know what? Forgive that thought. I call this release. First, it's recognize, then it's release. Release the thought, but release that by forgiving yourself for having those thoughts. Forgive yourself, or maybe there is some person who create or who implemented that thought, or maybe it's some event from your life. Forgive it. And I usually use this opono. I forgive you. I love you. Thank you so much for letting me know. I'm sorry. Very easy, very simple technique. And when I release, you know what I do? I have this funny thing. So I go into my mind and I do some kind of reset. And I literally, it takes you like 30 seconds. I literally imagine my brain like I am like cleaning, like removing that thoughts, like removing this belief and clearing. And you know, I don't care, you can even take like vacuum cleaner or something, just go there and clean. And then I see my brain as a beautiful white piece of paper. And then there is fourth step, which is rewrite that new thought. Make a decision that you're gonna have a new better thought, what that could be. So for example, if your negative thought is like, oh my god, I never attract a loving soulmate, so maybe there is a bunch of amazing people who are ready for amazing woman I am, or man. Makes sense?
I love it. I wrote down, it's so beautiful because it's like stop the thought, forgive the thought, and hold a new thought, right? You rewrite and hold it. And then...
And keep it, because there is one thing, very important. Your mind learns by repetition. It's like the process when you learn a new language, new words. It comes in by repetition. So this is the same with new thought, with new belief. You need to repeat that. You need to repeat. And I'm not joking here. Like I'm telling you, say that. Write that down like 100, 1,000 times per day.
Yes,
so
because
actually think in, let it in.
And I think be loyal to it, because I think here it's where the trick of affirmations and saying things above the surface really, because if you are holding a belief and you do not release it, even if you are saying, right? So there's a continuous step here of being loyal to that new thought, to really start living through that thought. Can you tell me some of the ways that you can do that, that you can bring, that you can make this continuation of this thought and really start creating something from it? Can you share one technique or something that you feel is important for that?
Well, honestly, from my own experience, hypnosis and RTT, what I do with people, it's the fastest way I've tried, because I believe me, I've tried so many things. And why? Because we talked about that last time. You don't have to do anything. And by bespoke hypnosis recording you get after the session, you just listen to it and that sink in. Imagine, for example, there's another rule of your mind. Your mind doesn't care if what you say it's true or false, good or bad, wrong or right. No, it's like, look, this lip balm, right? You put it on the skin, and that, okay, I let it sink in, let it, but my skin is not asking, oh, is this Chanel or is just like a €1 from airport thing? It just allows to go in, right? This is exactly what is happening with your mind and with words you are telling yourself every single day. So that's why it's so important to be mindful, be conscious about this new affirmations and new thoughts, new beliefs you want to program into your mind. So listen, even, you know what, you can even record yourself saying those beautiful new thoughts, new beliefs, and listen to it every single day, because that will help you to reprogram your mind. And as I said, it will just sink in. It will just go inwards. I don't know if that makes sense. Well, I can.
Sorry, it makes total sense, and it's a beautiful journey actually to open up this possibility and then start living through it and fueling it and giving it energy and bringing new things that can attach to it, new thoughts, because then when you begin vibrating something new, you will begin attracting new thoughts, new people, new circumstances that will match that. And what I feel is that, of course, the past story will still be there. And this is a message that I always give. And we need to be careful and conscious and of taking care of that, realizing that it is something that needs to grow. It's something that needs to flourish. It's not because we are not choosing a new thought, we are choosing a new story. But
Yes.
we need to hold a space for it to flourish and to be present, even if outside of us, we are still creating from an energy that's been emanating for such a long time. And I feel that this is a beautiful transition and needs to be taken care of. And because there's no outside reflection yet, because it has not gained momentum, many people will maybe quit.
Give up.
So what would be your advice to keep protecting it? What would you think is most important in that moment?
Patient. Be patient. This is such a beautiful thing. And look, there's also this sentence that you create that belief, right? But then you become that belief. But the universe or energies around us need some space, right, to recreate. Because imagine, before you were a different person, but now you level up, your energy is different, so the universe needs to rearrange everything
around that. I love it.
Exactly. So what is very important here, you know what, feel good. Allow yourself to feel good and distract yourself with activities that makes you feel even better. Why? Because when we feel good, we're gonna attract faster. We're gonna collapse the time quickly. So that space between old of you and new you, it's gonna be shorter. It's like, I think Joe Dispenza, he described that.
It's amazing.
Yes, he described this as the river. There is a river between the old version of you and that new version of you are creating. But it's still this river you need to go through. And our mind, there's another rule, amazing rule. There are so many great rules of your mind. And one of them is that your mind will always keep you with what is familiar to you and take you away from what is unfamiliar. So imagine if you've been living your life 30, 40 years with this strong belief, it's core belief that I'm not lovable, that love is not available for me, right? and then you wake up one day and you decide, no, let's change it up. Now I'm lovable. I am so lovable. And you do the affirmation.
The most lovable. Yeah.
I'm the most lovable person. Perfect. Beautiful. I'm happy for you. But for your mind, it's
and the resistance will come.
Exactly. Resistance, ego, fear. And it's also, it's normal thing. We're human beings. This is how it is. But again, I'm gonna say this again. This is your responsibility to take control over your thoughts and feelings. And that's why also to be patient during this period of time. And what helps me when I am fearful, when I see that I'm going back to, for example, some old behaviors, patterns, or habits, then I accept that fear. Because when we are trying to fight the fear, there's more resistance. And when you actually are able to sit quietly in stillness and see, okay, I am afraid. I am acknowledging that. I am aware that I am afraid of something, but I choose love. I choose courage over the fear. I choose me. I choose that vision I have for myself. I know this is available. Maybe it's not yet here in external world, but I know I have unshakable conviction that this is on its way. And we call that faith. This is faith. So
yes, because when the resistance comes up, it truly is beautiful how our mind is protecting us from a deeper fear. So this happens a lot. Consciously you want love, and I give this example many times, but in reality, to be sitting down with someone and going through this sense of being evaluated and not being enough, and what will I say and what will I do, and this is an exercise I ask people to do, is okay, let's go to the ideal scenario and sit down on that chair at that table, and this huge fear is going to come up, and that's what our mind is protecting us from sitting on that chair. And that chair can be anywhere in your life. It can be to meet someone, or to give a speech, or to go through the fear of really fulfilling and delivering the dream of your vision, and to stand in that fear. It really is the true transformation. And the beautiful message that I see, it's to really, to hold that thought, is to really go through that fear. It's really to stand on that fear and fully embrace it.
Yes, and there's one thing also I want to say. Without pain of life, no, there's no joy of life without pain of life. We need to accept and allow ourselves to feel all of these things. There's no love without jealousy. There's no good without bad. So what I see when I work with people, and I'm a therapist, and I do the inner work, not just on your subconscious mind, but also with your inner child. And we are so afraid of those painful feelings. And again, why we are so afraid? Because when we were kids, we were not able to deal with that. Imagine right now, there is a heartbreak, there is some anger over injustice, that something happened to you and you are like, oh my God, but this is so unfair. I know. Or maybe there is a grief because someone you loved passed away, or you lost your job. Those are painful events which create very painful feelings, but those are also existential pains, kind of pain. It's a pain that we all have to deal with. But there is another kind of pain. There is another kind of pain, which is in psychology, in there is one technique I also use, we call it inner bonding. And it talks about wounded feelings, wounded pain. It's a pain we create by ourselves. And that pain can be anxiety, stress, depression, obsession, guilt, anger towards other person. And this is pain you create. For example, imagine your partner is treating you poorly, right? Even yelling at you. Of course, it's so painful because no one likes when someone treats you badly, right? But what you can feel like, oh my God, your heart ache, or you are very sad. But that's kind of pain provoked by someone, and you don't have control over that. So this is existential pain. And this is, again, your responsibility to deal with that, to sit with yourself and say, look, this is not my fault. I'm not doing here nothing bad. I couldn't be treated this way, but I am, and I need to deal with that. But there's another thing, what we tend to do based on this situation, what we do. Oh my God, he treats me this way. Probably I've done something wrong. I am not good enough for this relationship. Oh my God. And we create all those beliefs, limitations. And we are responsible for creating even more pain. Like, I am angry. I feel guilty. I blame. And that's the pain you create.
Yes, to continue in a way entertaining. Yes, I see this as an alignment moment, even when you create an undesirable story, which is what the example you are saying, and you can keep there by going through this repetition, and this is always what's happening to me, either if it's from guilt, from shame, from whatever, it's what keeps pulling us back into that moment, or be loyal to that new thought and saying, I'm worthy, I'm lovable, I am. And then only from that new place can come a new response, can come a new creation. But it has to begin with that new moment, that new possibility, that new expansion that can give us a light towards a new way. Otherwise, it will be the same. So
yeah, exactly. Yes. Otherwise, it's gonna be this looping thought, and then we're gonna create even more pain in our lives, and we're gonna blame everyone out there, not just ourselves. And yes. Then from this, there's also this situation of being victim, right, in your life. But there is a thing. Our mind, yes, prefers negativity, be victim. It's easier. It's easier. So it's nothing wrong, even if someone listen to us and you think, oh my God, I'm doing this. Don't be right now bad for yourself. It's completely normal. And be opposite, be gentle and compassionate. But what you can do for yourself and how you can start to reprogramming your mind, it's to be aware of your thoughts, of decisions you make, because based on those thoughts, you're going to also make a decision, action you're going to take. Is this the same action you took as this old version of you, or it's aligned with that new person you want to be? That's a very important thing, to start, be aware, and deal with painful feelings. Fulfill yourself with love, with feeling safe, with that you matter. You need right now. I'm so sorry. I have no idea what happened in your life, but believe me, most of us have something to deal with, what is holding us back. But now, as an adult, you can't be just an adult. We need to be loving adult toward ourselves. and especially toward our inner child. And it is powerful technique to work with your inner child and make sure your inner girl or boy feels safe with you, feels loved by you, feels seen, valued, respected by you, not by others. So you enter the relationship not because you want to feel loved by that person. Who cares? You love yourself. You have yourself. And that's it. Like I was thinking about that actually a few days ago, and actually maybe this is unpopular opinion, but I believe that the reason to enter new relationship or loving relationship, it shouldn't be to feel love, to just share this beautiful moments of another person. I think the reason for both sides, it should be to master your spirit, to master your soul, to become even better. And why this is important? Because when you feel so loved by yourself, so safe within you, then the day that person wake up and tells you, look, I like you, but you can handle this. It's not going to hurt you. Of course it will, because it's again the existential pain, right? So it will somehow hurt, but you know that you can handle this. You don't gonna create another wounded feelings. Oh my God, I'm not good enough. I'm not lovable. This is my fault. No. And maybe there's not one and only. Maybe there's many one and onlys for you.
From abundance. Yes, I see your point. We should not enter a relationship or anything with an intention of need or of attachment to something or to someone, but truly enter for expansion, for growth, for growth as a couple, but definitely for growth, an intention of love and not of need or of lack or of something being wrong that you need fixed. Definitely, I agree 100% with that. And Natalia, what is the message that you would like to give on this topic, on reprogramming, on holding our new thoughts?
Make sure that you choose courage over the fear, that you choose love over the fear. Make sure that you feel good, because that will help. That helps so much with your healing process, with growing, with learning, and also with this transition between that old you into new you, from that that situation, that place in your life when you had these negative thoughts or this unhelpful beliefs, to actually become that person you want to be. Feel good, allow yourself to feel good, and be joyful.
I love that. I love that message. Thank you so much, Natalia, for being here again. Thank you for all the creators listening to us. And let's invite everyone to choose love over fear and allow themselves and ourselves to create a new thought that we will be backing up. Much love, Natalia, and much love to all.
So much. Thank you.